What's up guys, Scopetactics here for another World of Tanks tank review. Only going to be a short one today, so I'll keep it nice and precise. So today we're reviewing the FCM 36 Pack 40, the Tier 3 French tank destroyer, one of the SEAL Clubber's weapons of choice. Now you might be asking why. If you've played World of Tanks for any significant period of time, you probably know why. You will have seen these tanks quite often, usually driven by people with either good stats or noobs who have seen unicums and stuff using them and wanted to use them for themselves, usually quite effectively. So why is this tank so effective? Well, it's only got 180 hit points, but it's only a tier 3, so a lot of these statistics don't really matter. What does matter is the speed. I guess in lower tiers speed matters quite a bit more. It's only 24 kilometers an hour, so it is very slow to get into position. That is the main weakness of the tank, but it more than makes up for it in every other aspect. 37 degrees of traverse on the hull, and it has, I don't have these actual stats up on here, but I've got my tank inspector next to me. The gun traverse, it's 14 degrees either side, 17 degrees vertical elevation, where elevation is only vertical, and 8 degrees of gun depression, which gives it a fair amount of leeway when it comes to moving about the gun without, knocking off his camonet or binos. Speaking of camonet and binos, the camouflage value is decent for this tank, but I'd still recommend putting on a camouflage net because it is a tank destroyer and it is fairly squishy. Now the main strong point of this tank, apart from the gun, 400 meters base view range at tier 3 is insane. You put a pair of binoculars on this thing and you'll be able to spot anybody, whatever their camouflage value. It's ridiculous. Signal range, nobody cares about that. Let's have a look at the gun, the other strong selling point of this tank. 98 degrees of penetration even, 110 damage a shot, 0.37 accuracy, 1.5 second aiming time. 16 rounds a minute basically. Now you can't fit a gun rammer on this tank, so what do I recommend? Camonet, binoculars, enhanced gun lane drive. You could get away without using a enhanced gun lane drive really if you wanted to, but what else would you use? There's not really anything else. A wet armor rack class 1, I wouldn't recommend that. Toolbox, not really. Now the hull armor, don't be deceived, it's not 40mm all round. It's 40mm around this bit here, but all of this is 20. So unless you're fighting a tank with a machine gun or a flak gun, don't expect to bounce anything unless it hits here. So crew skills. As you can see, I'm using my crew from my tier 8 French tank destroyer, the AMX AC-48, so I've got a full camouflage crew on there. Apart from that, what I recommend, full brothers in arms, anything to enhance your view range really, even though that's not really needed, but higher view ranges, even though they don't enhance the cap, they do make it easier to spot people within that distance. So it always helps. What else would I recommend? Let's have a look, shall we? Skills, rather. So there's not really much I could recommend. Full camouflage, full repairs maybe. Maybe adrenaline rush. There's no, with such a fast firing time and reload time, there's not really any point. Safe stowage, maybe. Clutch braking could be good. Preventative maintenance, smooth ride. I wouldn't pick smooth ride. Preventative maintenance, you're probably dead by the time you catch fire anyway. Clutch braking could be good. Deadeye would be good. Designated target would be good. And for the commander, you want to get recon, 6th sense, Mentor. Eagle Eye, I've never used Eagle Eye. Situational awareness. It's all good. You can't really go wrong with this tank. The only problem is the maneuverability. And because it doesn't really have that many hit points, if you really want to scrub out on this tank, you want to load the strong coffee. You could also load a large burst aid kit and large repair kit and never use them. That's not the worst idea. Now my ammunition loadout, I do use 10 rounds of APCR because that 98mm of penetration will struggle to go through a KV-1. If you do come up to a KV-1, load the gold. It's come to the point in World of Tanks where I can't recommend not loading gold. If everybody else is using it, you've got to use it to stand a chance too. Especially against tanks 2 tiers higher than you. So don't feel bad about using it. Feel bad for the people who use it unnecessarily. Like those idiots in... think of an example. Say people in E25s who are shooting at a light tank, which could easily penetrate and they're just throwing their money down the drain. Feel sorry for them. Anyway, let's not go off to a tangent, this is supposed to be a short review. Let's jump into a replay and show you how this thing performs in a low tier game. So here we are, guys. In our first battle on Siegfried Line, playing Assault in the FCM 36 Pack 40. Now I did overestimate the traverse on this gun, as you can see I'm trying it out here. The elevation is pretty good, the depression is not bad, but side to side is appalling. It's 14 degrees total, so that's 7 degrees either side. So we're defending, and unfortunately this is a tier 5 game. Not sure why the names of our tanks are coming up in black. That must be a glitch with the replay. No surprises there. And you can see how poor this tank's engine is as I'm struggling to get into position. Put a shot just a bit too late into that 3/4. Try and get a shot on the T69. Flies right overhead. And we fire another one wildly, I think. Nope, maybe not. So I continue up onto the hill where the archer is situated. Try and give him some backup, though it's not as if he needs it. Look how poor this tank's engine is, going up here 4 kilometers an hour. I will say, with all the advantages and benefits this tank has, it is so painful to play on large maps or maps where you're required to move around a lot. It's really painful. There's a Panzer IV-H which we don't see because he's on the other side of the hill. Can't see bugger all from here really. Oh wait, there's a 3001H or a 30.01H, whatever you want to call it. They never used to have the decimal in there, so I just called it a 3001H. So we try and help out the archer and get some damage for ourselves by shooting at this guy. You can see he's got a good rate of fire. He bounced there. Penetration is okay for a tank like this. We get 2 shots into him. The rate of fire is good, aim time is good, accuracy is good. Gun traverse is buggering us up a little. So I try and reverse back now to get into a bush, but then I noticed the T25 you might have shots on. Again, tricked by the marker. But it's always worth having a look. And I don't think we see much of anything now. The archer is trucking away across the hills, trying to get more damage. This tank is so sluggish. On the top speed of 24 kilometers an hour, you'll be bloody lucky to reach that, I tell you. On most city streets you'll only go 21. So we're just seeing if we can get any shots here. We have the advantage at the moment. Just waiting for this Panzer IV-H to come up. That's an odd replay bug, by the way. I'm not sure if that's anything to do with the zoom mods I have installed or what. It's very peculiar. So the game's coming to an end really now. Siege Stug. Use a quick aim time to shoot right into his commander's hatch. He starts to get a bit ballsy and comes straight for us. Put another one into his lower plate, he gets one into us. A fantastic rate of fire means we can destroy him before he has a chance to shoot another one. So he took one hit. Obviously that's going to go straight through us. One, because our armor's crap, and two, because it was on a tank destroyer. But you know, that tank was 2 tiers above us. He could have destroyed us if we didn't get that first and second shot at him before he aimed at us, mind, but that's not the point. So as you can see, the base aim time on this tank is 3.61 seconds. I don't have coffee or anything installed on it. Don't have Brothers in Arms, and you can't get a gun rammer, so that is the base reload speed at 100% crew. With Brothers in Arms and coffee, you might be able to get that down to closer to 3 seconds. So we're looking for shots now on the Su-85. It was last spotted towards the east, but everybody seems to be heading towards the west. They probably think he's camping in K1 or K2. Just noticed that all the friendly tank names are coming up as null. I wonder why that is. Odd. Let's see if I can fix that. So I had to go and get these replays today. You know, they're not the greatest replays, but I did have a mastery badge in this tank, but unfortunately it was from the last patch, and I was trying to get the clients installed and everything, but it's such a pain in the ass. So while I'm trying to fix that, we'll have to make do with this for today, maybe next week. And we get the final shot and ammo rack, the Su-85, and because we destroyed 2 tank destroyers 2 tiers higher than us, we got a Halonen's medal. So that wasn't too bad. Let's jump into the next one. Replay number 2, and the final replay unfortunately for this tank is a standard battle on live oaks, as you can see. And we have the advantage of starting right next to the hill, so unfortunately we don't have to, no, fortunately rather, we don't have to go too far to get into position. As you can see, everybody racing towards the town, completely neglecting the bridge. Unfortunately that does not come back to bite us in the arse. So a lot of the tank destroyers are already up there. There's T-46, M3 Lee, which is arguably a tank destroyer. Look how painful this is, going 10, 12 kilometers an hour, getting a little bit faster, going down the little hill. But we can't get any shots on these guys. Everybody else is already in position, and here we are struggling along. And I do ping the bridge there, but it doesn't matter really too much. In these low tier games anything can happen. So we quickly try and get a shot in the head before he dies. Aim in, shoot one, bounces, and he dies before we can reload. Try and aim the shot for the Grant. Fortunately he disappears just before we can shoot him. He reappears and we're at the edge of our gun traverse. God damn it, this gun. So I try and predict where the steward to be. Almost hit him actually. Close but no cigar. So there's a 38T, and the sneaky bugger has just gone back into cover. So we try and shoot the AMX-40. I'm not sure if we hit him there. I think we might put one shot into him. Not hitting him anymore. Any shots in the Cheeky? No, he's being a pain in the arse and staying behind the house. AMX-40 is now behind cover. And we do actually have some shots on the B1 bis. But as you can see, every shot is bouncing. I really didn't think I'd need to use a PCR here, so I kept shooting. Then I just think, bugger it. I should have switched to APCR there. Anyways, Cheehy is still hiding there. The B1 is having a number done on him. MX-40 has reappeared, unfortunately behind that bloody house so we can't get shots. Need to help out this T-28. Put one into the 38T and the T-28 finishes him off. Now they're all coming from the left. So try and get shots on the Stewart. Put one good shot into him, he gets destroyed. Unfortunately, and the Grant is just behind the house. And the Grant does a fair bit of work. Poor T-28 tries to go up against the Grant. He gets destroyed, so the Grant's picked up 2 kills in like 10 seconds. The Hetz is holding off the bridge by himself. We can't see anything of the AMX-40, so we turn our attention to the other Pack 40 on enemy team. One shot straight through him and he's dead. Still no shots on that pest of a Cheeky. And the Grant finally comes out of cover and we don't even need to aim. The Grant is a fairly huge target. So now we just try and move into a bush. AMX-40 is out of cover, we take a random shot trying to get him. And now he's hiding behind that bloody building. Cheehy is finally out from behind the houses. One shot into him. 2 shots, and the S-85B gets the kill. Try and finish off the Stewart, we were a little bit too slow to turn around. Now we're trying to get the kill on the AMX-40. Bounce off the side because AMX-40, you know, the duck rather. And that's saying like water off a duck's back. Maybe that's what message should be displayed when you ricochet off a duck. An AMX-40 rather, you know. The names are synonymous with each other. The Hetzer tells the Su-85 to go and get his Top Gun. And I'm too slow to go anywhere anyway. I just switch ammunition types back to AP. See if I can get a shot in AMX-40, but the roof is in the way, so the S-85B gets his Top Gun. So that shows just what the FCM 36 Pack 40 could do if it can get into a situation like that. So let's jump back to the garage and give a final thought on this tank. So here we are back in the garage after trying out a few games in this tank because I couldn't use my Ace Tanker gameplay. I forget what map that was on. I forget the name of the map, but it's on that map that only ever appears in low tiers and there's a massive valley in the middle. Ended up doing close to 1,500 damage in that game. I think it was incredible. I got into position right away and they just lined up. So those replays I showed you weren't impressive, but they're everyday sort of games. I had worse after I recorded those, let me tell you. Mainly tier 5, and mainly because of the mobility of this tank. The biggest downside of this tank is by far the poor engine. But if you can look past the engine, or you don't mind slow tanks, this tank is an absolute bargain to purchase for low tier gameplay. A lot of people love it, a lot of people swear by it. Just wish it was that little bit faster. If it could go 30 kilometers an hour, this tank would be so overpowered. So that's probably why it can't go any faster. Of course the armor's poor, it's a glass cannon. It's a French Marder 2, what more do you want? Well, apart from the Marder 2 going back to what it was before it was, you know, nerfed patch after patch after patch, but that was before my time, I think. So all in all, a very good tank. At the moment, I think you can pick this up for, yeah, you can pick it up for 50% off at 425 gold instead of 850. Trust me guys, you want to snap up this tank. Oh, by the way, you shouldn't even be able to get into Mittengard. You know, that new map for low tiers? that you're not supposed to be able to get in if you played over a certain amount of games, I don't think. I got into a game while I was recording the replays for this. It ended up being absolute crap after, the first couple of minutes, but I sat still with my camera and binoculars and detected the entire enemy team, and I got a scout medal. Absolutely insane, that 400 meters view range. And with the binoculars, it bumps it up to 500. Obviously, I think the max is 440 meters. But like I mentioned earlier, it just means that you'll be able to detect tanks earlier within that 400 meters view range, as it can negate some of their camera value. So all in all, my personal opinion, pick this tank up. It's good fun if you like playing low tiers, or if you're introducing other friends to the game and need something to play. It gets standard matchmaking, so that's always a bonus, if you're playing with other people. And it earns pretty good money too. Even if you do absolute crap in a game, it's nice to get some money with. Anyway, that's my review of the 36 pack 40. Pick it up. I'll see you guys next Wednesday for another tank review. Hopefully a little more prepared than this one. Thanks for watching, guys.